Hello viewers, welcome you all again in my channel Indrajit Creations. Today we know a new concept of education. Today's concept is the micro teaching. In this year we know what is the micro teaching, what is the characteristics of the micro teaching, what is the phases of the micro teaching, and lastly what is the cycle of the micro teaching. So let's start. So, what is the micro teachings? In 1961, the students of Stanford University, Allen also first invent this method or invent this teaching strategy. So, this is the micro teaching method. So, in this year, there are the peer tutoring, there are the peer students also be teaching in a particular topic. So in this year he also classified these micro teaching stages. So in this year micro teaching is a scale down teaching and which also with the encounter the class size and the class time. So in this year the micro teaching is total classroom so divided the many types of part and also some students like 5 to 10 students also participate in this class and they are also teaching on his a particular topic to 5 to 6 minutes. So in this year this teaching method also called the micro teaching method. Now we clearly know the characteristics of the micro teaching. So in this year the characteristics are the classified these characteristics in the 5 types. In this year we clearly know the 5 major characteristics of micro teaching. The first characteristic is a new experience. So in this year that in the teaching learning process the micro teaching is a new concept of every human being or the every peer or every learner. So in this year this is the new experience when a learner in conducting in a teaching perspective, so that times he also will understand the teaching method and that times he will gain the new experience from this teaching method. The next characteristic is the teacher training strategy. So in this year the many kinds of the students also know the micro teaching and in this year the teaching is a unique for every human being. So in this year the teaching is a different for the every human being. So in this year the persons who are giving the teaching, so that times in his the own so that times he also follow or he also apply his own strategy. So in this year the teaching is always based a new strategy for the peer learners. Next characteristic is that teaching is a small concept. So in previously we told about this teaching is also conducted 5 or 10 students and accumulate in a particular classroom, that times it also be occurred this micro teaching and this teaching durations will be the 5 to 6 minutes and every students will go to the desk and he also teaching in a particular topic. So this is the small concept. The next characteristic is the proper feedback. When a peer learner also teaching a particular problem on the desk and in front of the students or in front of the students are also the are also the feedback of his teaching. So in this year the feedback is very essential for the micro teaching because the peers also not give the feedback, so that times the teachers will don't know his lack. So in this year the feedback process or the feedback strategy is so much important for the micro teaching. Next characteristic is a gain experience. So in this year the child or the peer tutoring learner also gain more experience about the teaching. So in this year he has lack of the fear of teachings and he will be gain some teaching strategy and how to teach to others he know here. So in this year he also gain more knowledge about the teaching. Next and last characteristics is the opportunity for the research. If the teaching is very well and the subject matter will be the clear to the others, all these kinds of the topic will be the easy for him, and he will be get more opportunity for the further work and the further research. So in this year we clearly know the characteristics of the micro teaching. Next we know clearly what is the phases of the micro teaching. In this year has the three kinds of the phases of micro teaching. So number one is the knowledge acquisition phase, number two is the skill acquisition phase, and number three is the transfer phase. At first we clearly know the knowledge acquisition phase. So in this year the peer learner will be know about this micro teaching, and in this knowledge acquisition phase he will be know how to write in a board, in a blackboard, how to use a blackboard. So at first he will know about the blackboard and how do you go to the topic and how do you disclose the all kinds of the topic. So in this year he will give he will gain the more knowledge about the micro teaching. So this is the acquisition phase of the micro teaching. Next is the skill acquisition phase. So in this year there are the some skills like the how to use your blackboard, and that times you use the blackboard and you don't cover the written materials by you. So in this year the skill is very effective for micro teaching, and as well as when you are writing on a board, and that times the writing materials will be clear to every students, and which students is sat on the last bench and this object be clear to him. In this year the peer learner also clearly acquiring the skill capacity of the teaching. So next we know about the transfer phase. So in this year the transfer phase also when you have learned any kinds of the object, and these kinds of the object of and your learning materials also be transferred to the other aspect. So this is the transfer factor for this is the transfer phase. Suppose you give an example for your daily working routine, and you also attach and you also transfer this learning from your book related learning. So in this year this is the transfer phase. So class today we clearly know what is the characteristics of the micro teaching and what is the phases of the micro teaching. Lastly we know the cycle of the micro teaching. Next we know about the cycle of the micro teaching. So in this year has the 6 listed cycle is effective for the micro teaching. So in this year at first the teacher makes some planning. So in this year the its first cycle is the planning. Next is the he also give the teaching. So in this year next is the teaching. Next is the feedback. So when the teachers also give the teachings, and after that he take feedback from the peer tutor or peer learners. So in this year if this topic is clear to end this process, but also in this year the peer learners are also replanning again, reteaching, and after that a re-feedback. So in this whole process the planning, the teaching, the feedback, the replanning, the reteaching and the re-feedback is conducting in the 36 minutes. And at first when you are planning, so that times it's your own time, and after that when you are teaching, and after that when you are teaching, this teaching time is the 6 minutes and your feedback time is the 6 minutes, and your replanning time is the 12 minutes, and after that your reteaching will be the 6 minutes and your re-feedback will be the 6 minutes. So this whole concept or these whole cycles will be finished in the 36 minutes. So this is the cycle of the micro teaching. So class, today we clearly know what is the micro teaching, what is the characteristics of micro teaching, what is the phases of micro teaching, and lastly we know what is the cycle of the micro teaching. So class, today I end this session here, and next day we will meet again with a new topic. So take care, bye.